We begin with breaking news. An earthquake in the Mississippi Delta. Magnitude 3.7. It's centered around Hollandale. That's just outside of Greenville. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ken South. He's been gathering the latest information. Ken?
All right, Melanie, it's not unusual for small earthquakes to happen just about every day, but most of those occur along the West Coast. This is a look at the earthquakes today across the United States. And notice a majority of those are in California, Nevada, the Pacific Northwest. What is not common is to have an earthquake in Mississippi, but that happened this afternoon. More specifically, a 3.7 magnitude earthquake at 4:26 this afternoon in Washington County, fairly close to Hollandale, just a few miles to the northwest of there. Now, it was registered at about 16 kilometers below the surface, and it could be felt miles away. At least several dozen people reporting that they actually felt this earthquake for a couple of seconds. Even some folks across the Mississippi River in Arkansas feeling this earthquake. Now, we should note that the closest fault line is the Nemadrid Fault, which is in the Memphis area. Melanie, over to you.
Thank you. The assistant police chief in Greenville tells us there was no damage or injuries reported. Now, as Ken said, one man in Wilmer, Arkansas, across the river, says he actually felt the chair and floor trembling for a couple of seconds and heard some stuff rattling. Now, joining us on the phone is David Burford. He's the emergency management director of Washington County. And David, thank you so much for joining us. Did you feel anything?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I was sitting in my office in the EOC, and I felt every bit of it.
My goodness. Did you know right then, of course, that's what you were feeling?
Well, no, my first instinct was an explosion because it was such a short duration. But after going outside and talking to everybody, and within a minute, we were getting calls from all over the county. So that pretty much told us it was an earthquake.
It was an earthquake. Well, what reports have you been receiving from folks?
Mostly it's people just questioning what was it? Was it an earthquake? The ones that thought it might have been, or those that had no idea, they're like, what in the world's going on? So no damage reported. We've had the sheriff's office out around the epicenter checking it, and nothing has been reported at this time.
All right, that's good news there. You know, we've been saying it's near Hollandale, or Hollandale was the center, but it's just a few miles away from there, a few miles west of there?
Northwest. If you go to a map, if you find Leroy Percy State Park on the map, it was about 1.5 miles due north of Leroy Percy.
A lot of people may be familiar with that. Now, of course, that Nemadrid Fault, always a concern in this part of the country. We've heard, people saying they've been warning us, Is that a consideration, in the county's emergency plans? Do you prepare for that?
Oh, yes, ma'am. We have a specific annex for an earthquake because it would be such a catastrophic event. We spent 2 years with the other counties and Mississippi Emergency Management working on the earthquake plan and working through it and coming up with a good solution to deal with it if and when it ever happens. So we've got the plan, and we probably need to get it out to the people more. Seems like a lot of people aren't real sure what to do.
Not a bad idea there. That's good. Mr. Buford, thank you so much for joining us. David Burford is the Emergency Management Director for Washington County. We thank you so much for joining us.